Yes, guys, Marty from AFTV, the Invincible podcast. I am covering this week for Robbie, like Madueke is covering for Saka.
I like that.
My guest here today needs absolutely no introduction. Just like Judge Dredd, the judge, juror, executioner, the man that brings the gavel down, the main man himself, Lee, the judge, judges.
Right, you've got the job now. Robbie's gone. Like, obviously, you done well last time because you're back.
Than're
You're back, like, you know what I mean?
Thank you very much.
Robbie's off to Jamaica doing some filming out there.
He's indeed.
And he said, like, you know, you all right with Marty coming back? So I said, like, yeah.
So I've got you to thank, Lee.
Well, not really. Like, in fact, like, you know, anything's better than Robbie. You know what I mean? Like,
you say the nicest things. I wondered how I got myself back in here, but thank you very much. Just by default, right? So, look, a lot going on at Arsenal at the minute.
Yes.
Signings, you know, there is so
Allegedly.
much. Yeah, allegedly. I mean, there is so much talk in the transfer window. If we sign all of these players that they say that we're going to sign, it's got to be a serious transfer window, right?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt it is. And I think, like, for me, once Gyökeres is over the line and, you know, they're showing the pictures of him with the shirt and everything like that, for me, I'll be a relaxed person.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that we need. You know, all the others are all great and everything like that, but that is the one we need. That's the one that changes it for me and puts us back into a position, you know, challenging. Liverpool are doing their bits and, you know, but at the end of it, if we ain't getting the striker and all that, like, we'd be edgy again. Like, you know, how comes Liverpool going for a forward and we need a forward? We ain't doing this, we ain't doing that. So I get it, you know what I mean? But what I've sensed and through my mates and everybody at this moment in time, once that striker is over the door, there's a sense of relief. I actually spoke to one of my mates yesterday and I said, like, he said to me, or, you know, I asked him, I said, you excited about Gyökeres because it's a big one? He went, it's gone past that now of excitement. It's more relief.
Yeah, I get that.
Do you feel that?
100%. Do you know what the thing with it is? I think if they had have bought him in the shirt, you know, like they do, they've got a picture of the player signing the contract with the Emirates in the background or in the board, and they just sort of released that, I think there would have just been this jubilation. Not saying that there's not once that happens, because I do believe a striker of some sort is going to be signed, and by the time this goes out, it might have been the done and dusted deal. But I think sometimes there is more to just going bam and just giving everyone that. This is a saga now. This is a long, drawn-out process. I mean, it's been going on since, well, let's be honest, it's January and, well, probably beyond that as well. And we really need to get that in place. And I think the amount of friction and the amount of meltdowns that I've seen over this situation, which quite rightly so, you know, this is a key position in any team, having an out-and-out goal scorer, a player that can just hit the back of the net, you know, you whether the ball goes into the box on the floor or, you know, you can just do the lot, and he's going to basically sort of semi-guarantee you 25 goals a season. That player, that calibre of player that we've been missing for so long. And we've winged it this last season with Marino up there. Obviously, everyone says that Havertz. I think, you know, and I'll go on to this, the Gyökeres sign. It's interesting because I've heard that Odegaard's not going to be starting potentially the start of the season. So playing Havertz in behind, say, a Gyökeres is an interesting proposition. Or how, and then there's talk of Eze. We're going to get him, using him as a playmaker. I think I'm really excited to see how this number 9 transforms Arsenal.
That's a great point, because I think you're right. You can play different positions. You can play the 3 up top.
Yeah.
You can play like 2 up top, or just
4-4-2, 4-3-3.
Just dropping off,
Yep.
playing like a sort of similar role. Don't get me wrong when I say Bergkamp and Havertz in the same. In the
He's
same.
done it. He's done it
in the same.
He's done it. Clip that up.
But Bergkamp used to play and drop off, so Havertz could do that.
Yeah.
You could play with 2 10s if you like, with Havertz in there, or even like Wanyeri and Odegaard. And I also think, you know, this this sort of signing also puts a little pressure on Odegaard, because I felt he's for whatever reason, and we can go and debate it all day long, his performances dropped off to the standard that we expect.
Yep.
He can't let that happen again. If it does happen, he's going to be out of the team, where I felt last season there weren't no one to replace him. You look back to when he got injured, had no one to replace him. I think now with Gyökeres there, we've got options in all sorts of areas, so that is really, really good. And listen, it is an exciting sign. I do think that I will be, when he's done, I think there'll be 50% excitement, 50% relief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think Zubimendi is a good signing for us, right? But because it was so long and all that, I've not really.
Do you know what, Lee? It's interesting you say that, and that's something I was going to say. For me, if I'm honest with you, the Zubimendi signing is the signing that I am most excited about. Why? Because I generally believe, from what I've seen, I've watched him quite a bit, and obviously when I knew that Arsenal were in for him, especially after January, when it was apparently a done and dusted deal, I watched him a lot and what he would potentially bring to Arsenal. Don't forget, this is a player that was going to Liverpool, and he himself pulled out at the last minute, and then Xabi Alonso is his idol. Like his first role as a manager was in the B team at Real Sociedad, and he brought Zubimendi into the team. So there's kind of that father figure there. And then obviously, and when Real Madrid come calling, let's be honest, it's Real Madrid. So Zubimendi has chosen to come and play in the Premier League in the freezing cold. Don't forget, let's be honest, I know they've got heated pitches and stuff like this, but we're wrapped up in the Emirates in these big jackets and stuff like that. From sometimes through November through to March, you get some seriously cold. I mean, it's not like playing in Spain, and when you're going at some of these stadiums, in the FA Cup and stuff like that, you're playing in the elements. You really, and for him to give up Spanish football, don't forget, it's a move across Spain. He's chosen to come to the Arsenal. Yeah. I love that in a player. I really respect that. And from what I've seen of him as a player, he can do everything that Jorginho can do and everything that Thomas Partey can do. Combined, he's got a great temperament, his injury record's fantastic, his ball playing ability is excellent, and being able to control the tempo of the game is something that I think we've lacked. There's been times when last season we've been 1-0 up, or we've had 2-0, or and we've just needed to have that player to put their foot on the ball, move it side to side, and move it forward and back, and just to really take that game by the scruff of the neck. Yeah. Because sometimes it's like either we're defending, or we're attacking. Not this in control. And after 70 or 80 minutes, we've lost our sort of our dimensions in the way of being able to. It's like, okay, cool, we need to hold on to this lead. What do we do? Run out, and that player, that Zubimendi, he really gives you that, and I believe that extra level that we're missing. But like all signings, you don't know until they literally put the shirt on, run onto the pitch, and they've played probably a handful of games. You can't really, like the Gyökeres signing. We could, God forbid, we could sign him, and he might not. Nothing could happen, and all of these signings, you just don't know. You can't judge the season until it's done.
Exactly that. Look, listen, Malcolm McDonald, back in the day was a record signing for Arsenal. Yeah, and he got a knee injury. It didn't quite, work out. He was still fantastic for us at a certain part, but it didn't. You looked at it and you probably say it didn't work out to the greatest thing of it all. Like, you go back to wasn't a record sign, but it was a big sign for us. Charlie Nicholas, brilliant player. But at the end of the day, there's, you'd say it worked, but there was percentages that say that it wouldn't. Pepe, that's a definite one that didn't work. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll tell you, speaking on that of signings, Abu Diaby, the guy that was touted to replace Patrick Vieira,
one of the best.
What an absolutely phenomenal player he was. And I remember that tackle at Sunderland, Stadium of Light, by, was it not Catterall? And you heard the scream from Abu Diaby as he tackled, the yelp, and he busted his ankle. And after that, he went on with something like 28 injuries or something like that. It basically ruined his career. And he was fantastic. You just don't know.
I remember him playing a game against Liverpool. I don't know. I think we might have even lost it. like Neil. He ran. Do you remember it? Right?
Run the game. He ran the game. He was under box to box. He was dominant.
Never seen a. It was early in the season. I've never seen a performance like it.
It was unbelievable.
You know what I mean? He was the nearest thing to Patrick Vieira, like, as far as I'm certain. And you know, injuries, like, you know, part and parcel of football, and unfortunate is it, you know. But
injuries.
You know, like.
It was like Aaron Ramsey and Jack Wilshere. Obviously, the horrible injury that happened to Aaron Ramsey. I mean, he came back to still be a fantastic player, but if that injury didn't happen,
he would have been unbelievable.
And Jack Wilshere, the amount of time he was in the treatment, so another phenomenal talent, but just couldn't stay fit.
Yeah, and that is something to do with football. You know what I mean? It ain't just about. Listen, I think. You know, someone said to me the other day, you know what I mean, you know, this and that, and you do need a little bit of luck in football.
You do.
You need
I think you need luck in life.
Yeah, luck in life. You know what I mean? So, you know, you hope everything with Gyökeres is good. I think that it's physically going to be good for us. But you listen, at this moment in time, it doesn't mean to say that he's going to be the one that takes us to the title or whatever. But I think it's. I do think it's a massive sign for Arsenal. Massive sign.
So on that note of the signings, so obviously we know Kepa's over the line, that's done and dusted. The backup goalkeeper, and I genuinely believe, from what I've seen in Kepa, you know, I love watching goalkeepers, and Kepa is a goalkeeper that I did watch a lot of last season. He did fantastically for Bournemouth, and to have him as an understudy to David Raya.
Can he challenge for the number one spot?
100%. Do you know why? Right, so with goalkeepers, the difference between the top goalkeepers is, one, they all do make mistakes, but it's how quickly they recover from the mistakes they make and keeping the mistakes to a minimum. So I watched the Club World Cup final the other night, and obviously all the Chelsea fans, fair play to Chelsea for winning that, and they've done the clean sweep of all the trophies. But the one thing that I noticed, and this is where Chelsea have been caught out last season many times, have been 1-0 up or 2-0 up, and then Sanchez, who makes some fantastic outstanding saves, he'll have in a game 1, 2, 3 moments of madness. In that Club World Cup final, he made 3 mistakes, but fortunately for him, the ball didn't end up in the back of the net. Now, generally as a goalkeeper, 90% of the time, if you make a mistake, the ball's in the back of the net. You know, it's not like, say, a midfielder gives the ball away, or a defender or a striker. But as a goalkeeper, you make a mistake, 90%, it's in the back of the net. Now, he made mistakes at a time when Chelsea were 2-0 up. Now, that mistake, that goal goes in, which it didn't, fortunately for them, then it's 2-1. And then you make another mistake at 2-2 or 3-3. The pendulum of the game, and you know, can swing. And then before you know it, you end up losing the game. And that's how Chelsea lost a lot of games last season, when I noticed, you know, through goalkeeping errors and defensive errors, which led to goalkeeping errors. Don't get me wrong, he makes some outstanding saves. And in that game, he had kind of a man of the match performance. He made 3 outstanding saves. Yeah. But as a goalkeeper, there's no point in making 3 outstanding. Well, there is point in making the saves. If then you're going to make 2, 3 mistakes. It's the level of consistency. And now Kepa, albeit has had his moments. I remember it. Do you remember in that Carabao Cup final when they tried to sub him?
I don't think he's ever recovered from that.
Do you not?
I don't think he's ever recovered from that.
He went on with Real Madrid, won Champions League, and I think he won their version of the FA Cup. I can't remember. So he's won stuff, and he did win stuff with Chelsea, right? And
listen, he's won things, and at the end of the day, to get him to come as a backup is an improvement on Neto, if you be really honest about. It's been an improvement on our goalkeeping backups for a very long while. We've actually got 2 decent goalkeepers now. Like, you know, the one with Aaron Ramsdale didn't work because they were both vying for the number 1, and it was a little bit like, you know, a little bit of pressure on Ramsdale, and there was pressure on Raya. But this one now seems like Raya will be the. But you know, if Raya gets injured or drops in form, you ain't like worried if someone's coming in like, and I think that's a big thing.
The one with Raya and Ramsdale very, very much reminded me of Seaman and Lukic. That scenario where it was like Seaman was brought in and Lukic was a fan favourite. I mean, he won it in '89, you know, and how they won it emphatically against Liverpool 2-0, you know, at Anfield. 100%. That reminded me of that. This Kepa one feels different in the way that Kepa is like, okay, I'm going to come here. You're the number 1. I respect that, but listen,
if I get my
but
chance,
I'm going to get my chance, so I'm going to take it. And I don't have any qualms at all about if Raya gets injured. And we were very fortunate last season. You know, David Raya, another player that got redlined and played basically virtually every single match. I think bar one against Girona that...
which he was injured in. Do you remember that was the time we got that thigh injury, and we was all panicking that he weren't going to be fit for the league games, and there was a big worry about it, like, you know what I mean. But eventually, and you know, he looked at the team sheet and he was in, but he might have been for 2 or 3 games having to be nursed through games, not training. We don't know, you know what I mean. At the end of the day, now you can just turn around and say, right, if he's got that sort of injury, right, you're in, Kepa, you come in, and you play, Kepa, and we get him fit and properly.
And I don't have any... Before with Neto, I was worried if Raya gets injured. I was like, what are we going to do here? You know, it's like if Saliba gets injured, you know, listen, don't get me wrong, it's very hard to replace William Saliba.
Of course.
And that's what I believe we're moving on to the next one. Mascara, okay, Mascara is not announced. We haven't seen him in an Arsenal shirt, but I believe it's basically done. Now, he can play right and left centre-back, which gives me... And he's very direct. He's a very sort of attack-minded defender in a way. He will bully players. He's got a massive engine. Another player I've watched. He's an athlete. He's got pace. He's got ability, and you know, beyond belief. And I think he will be a perfect cover. And another player that when he gets his opportunity, first team player, Valencia, and I think Real Madrid were looking to hijack it as well. It's that sort of player having cover. I mean, last season it was, well, what do we do if Saliba gets injured? We had it the season before.
Exactly that.
We were in trouble.
Saliba, like, and a lot of people don't realise this with Saliba. When he first come to us, you know, he was fantastic. Since he's walked through the door and played first team football, he's been fantastic for us. But for the first couple of seasons, he wasn't a regular in France. Yeah. So what would happen is that he'd go to France and he weren't playing. He was like training and all that, like, so great. But over the last year or so, particularly last season, he's a regular now in France. So he's having an extra 10 games with France, which he wasn't having a couple of seasons ago. And then you're looking at it and going, right, well, he's having to play him in cup competitions because we didn't really have no one there, because Tomiyasu was injured and whatever. So now what we can do is that there's certain times of the season, and like, you know, in the end he broke down at the back end of last season. Yeah, he did. So, which understandably. So this season now, what you want is Saliba, March, April, May, being fit, like, you know what I mean, ready to go. So there can be times when you can just go, do you know what, we're going to give you a little bit of a break. And
in all your FA Cup, your League Cup games, you've got a replacement team, essentially, that you can put these players in. They're going to do a job for you. They're not going to let you down. So I think where Arteta last season, he was forced to play his best team in all competitions because there wasn't a cover there.
Yeah, and I think like one of the things that Arsenal have got to address, and that's why I have been a little bit angry about, because just get Gyökeres signed, and all the other signings are not going to be spectacular.
Do you not think?
No, I don't.
Do you not think? And so I'll go back to Zubimendi. Do you not think that's going to be a spectacular?
I'm going to be really honest with Zubimendi. I don't. Because it took so long, maybe that's why I haven't got that. But I think it'd be a good sign, a very, very good sign. It's not one of those signings, probably the wrong word to say, it's going to excite and make you go mad. But they're essential to this project at this moment, because if you look at Arsenal's 11, it's as good as anybody's in the league and whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's the squad. The squad has not been strong enough. The squad has been tested over the last year or so, and if we're really honest, it's failed. Because we haven't had it. But what we've got now is players that can come in, players for different... For instance, I'm not sure if Timber's going to be fit for the beginning of the season. We don't know. But if he ain't, we know that Ben White is. You know, on the left-hand side, we've got like two very, very good players, you know, Calafiori, and obviously, Skelly will be the... Midfield, we've got... say if it is Zubimendi, Odegaard and Rice. Backing that up now, we've got Norgard, Wanyeri, Marino. So, you know, it isn't like if you're playing a League Cup tie at Preston or at home against Preston, you're putting that midfield in. That should be enough to win any game, like, definitely, you know, in the cup. So you know, you look at it up there. Not for me, the same sort of strength up top yet, but we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. But yeah, so listen, for me.
What do you think, just quickly on that, the Norgard signing? What's your thoughts on that?
If I'll be really honest,
be honest, please.
I would have liked to have seen a sign go and get a younger version, like somewhere. But my mate, who's a very very and I like to be like some of my mates are a little bit more relaxed about things and whatever. And he came up with a very very good point. He said, look, we might be looking at an Adam Walton or someone in a couple of years' time. So, but at this moment, for 2 years, Norgard will be a good thing, like, you know what I mean.
Will.
So I get that, like, a lot of people say to me, like, like my mate goes, you should be relaxed about it. So I'll never be relaxed until. And everybody's different, you know what I mean. Fans having meltdowns, fans who get angry and whatever. There's different fans. We're all different.
Yeah, of course we are.
We all support the team differently, and after not having a striker at this football club for 7 months. I'm just, once that's in, people go to me, oh, well, we need Eze, and we're like, yeah, well, if we do, we do. I'm relaxed then, like, but until that striker is through the door, I can't be relaxed. Yeah. I cannot be relaxed because, looking at it, Marty, nothing really changes for us. Nothing really changes for us. If we don't get him in, we're not struggling, but we're going to. It'd be if only we had the goal scorer here, only if let's get it in, and then it makes us right. And then all the other signings, I think it takes the pressure off. Like, I feel sorry for Nonny coming in. Like, you know what I mean, Madueke. I feel sorry for him coming in. Dream move for him and all that. No one wants it. Not that they don't want it. That's the wrong word to say. No one wants it.
I think there's quite a few people that don't actually legitimately hate it. Like this, but like you're saying. Sorry to cut you off, but this petition. I was going to come on to this petition thing that I saw. Like, imagine being 23 years old. You get your dream move to a big club like Arsenal Football Club, right? You're so excited. They've come in for you. The manager's obviously identified you as a backup to Saka. You're going to get given opportunities because we all know that Saka's going to be rested at points, and there's going to be times in games after 70th minute where he's going to get substitute because. Again, another problem from last season where he got redlined to the point where he was out for 3 months and had an injury. Look, if it wasn't for modern day technology and that could have ruined his career. That was a tear on a hamstring. It's a serious footballing injury. Michael Owen had it and he was never the same. There's countless footballers have had that injury. Now to come in and think, right, I'm coming to this amazing stadium with an amazing fan base. And then you see online, or your family see, and obviously, I look at it, if my children see, that about me, that's what people forget, I think, when they're doing this stuff is, it's not, I've seen it, like when I've had things said about me online and stuff like that. I personally, doesn't bother me really, like that. But when your daughter reads and goes, oh, Daddy, what's this? What's that? That's the impact of it. It's how it affects other people. Now, his family... I mean, imagine that. Imagine seeing that. And listen, as Arsenal fans, I think there's a certain level of decorum that we're supposed to have and a certain level of just manners and moral turpitude. And I don't see that in putting out petitions for a player that hasn't even put a shirt on. Now, if he comes to this club and puts that shirt on and does his job, what he's paid to do, and he does. Is he going to get an apology? Are those fans that done that petition going to put the same petition up saying the sorry to Nonny Madueke Society? Everyone signed this petition to say how sorry we are for lambasting him before he even came to this club. Are they going to do that?
Of course they're not, like,
there you go.
And the thing is, like, this is the trouble with social media and everything now. That, listen, Ian Wright signed for the Arsenal back in the day, and there was a little bit of an outcry. Even with David Seaman, you go back to that,
there was huge.
But there wasn't the social media. But they still, Ian Wright still knew about it, and so did David Seaman, and But obviously now it's so much bigger because of social media. So he would have known all of that was going on and all that, and it's a little bit unfair on him as an individual. Do I understand the signing at this moment in time? No.
Why not?
Because at this moment in time, I don't think we need him.
I know you. But okay, but he's cover for Saka, right?
But in saying that, Wayne could cover Saka.
Okay.
Martinelli could cover Saka. What I'm saying is, listen. I'm not backing up fans that have gone over the top. I'm saying the fans that are not quite happy are probably looking at it and going, look, that money could have made sure that we got the deal for Gyökeres
quick. Yeah, I get that.
So if that would have been done, then I don't think, look, we're still negotiating, still trying to sort out the Gyökeres deal. But Chelsea said, we'll give you this, and well, all right, we'll pay it, So where I do understand the signing as a backup for Saka, I don't understand the timing of it, and I don't understand the money side of it, and I think a lot of fans are feeling that. But what is wrong? I'm not being horrible. Someone come to me and asked, sign this, what's he going to do? And two, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. I think it just makes a mockery of our fan base.
Yeah, and it just does. And then putting the things over the murals and all that,
that this is it, Lee, right? And I believe that led to. Funnily enough, I drove past the stadium earlier to see, obviously,
Is it still there?
Scene. No, it's gone. It's gone. It's all gone. And to be honest, they did a really good job of it. It's not. You wouldn't notice it was there unless you knew where it was, if that makes sense. I saw the pictures on, and I thought, I'm going to have a look at this. And they've done a really good job of sort of putting it back together, which good on Arsenal Football Club, because that, I think, again, writing Arteta out on this, I don't this in or out, I'm not a huge fan of it, if I'm honest with you. I think at the moment, unless Mikel Arteta loses the next 10 games, listen, if Mikel Arteta, given these players that we all want and apparently the team needs, if he goes and loses or gets bad run of results in the first 10 games, I think he's going to be, in some real pressure. And obviously at the end of the season, I do think if nothing's won, then you've been given everything you need to complete the job, and you haven't completed the job. We need to look at other options. You've got the players, everything's in situ. And that's it. So that all this stuff happening, I don't think we need this now. I think this is the time for resetting, pre-season, enjoying the pre-season, getting behind the players, getting them fit, getting them ready to go. So when this Premier League competition starts, we're firing on all cylinders, and we're looking to go and put these teams to the sword and put them away.
I couldn't agree more. And the thing is with Arsenal, and I think as a club, maybe they should look at this a little bit more and read the room, as I say. For a start, at the end of last season, we all know we need a striker. We've gone 5 months without it. Out comes the new home shirt.
Yeah.
Which is 120 quid. I think it's 120 quid. Yeah, for the player's shirt, 85. So that's gone up.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a bloody nice shirt as well. So
and I ain't buying it. I'm not buying anymore until we sign a number 9.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
So you get that, but your season ticket's gone up as well. Everything's going up. Where you're asking to pay for this. Out comes a new top. A little bit more merch comes out. And listen, there's fans out there, and I'm one as well. That if I like something I thought, I do want to get that. You know what I mean? It's sort of got you by the old short and curlies, and you have to go, but you don't have to go and buy it. But understand it. There are people that can't not let it go. You know what I mean, and buy it. So they're doing all this. I just think they should have said, right, we get Gyökeres over first, get that deal done. If they want to do the Madueke deal, fine, but keep it a little bit under. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get
that. And then right, we sign Gyökeres, everybody's happy. And then if they want to sign, that one comes out a little bit later, everybody be fit. But there's a little bit of panic in it on all that. Get that deal done. And the end of it, everybody, I think, will be a little bit more relaxed.
And on that as well, big respect to my uncle as well. It was my birthday the other day, and he actually gave me a voucher for the Arsenal store, £40 voucher.
Well, big up to happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I thought you'd never.
I did wish you happy birthday on the day.
No, you did actually. To be fair, thank you. And I've got that, and it's sat there, and it will not get used literally until.
Do you know what? I don't blame anybody for that. Do you know what? It don't affect the club or whatever.
Yeah,
But
of course it doesn't.
But it's your
principles.
Principle thing of it, like, you know what I mean? Like, 100%. You know what I mean?
What's me buying a shirt going to do for Arsenal football?
Yeah,
Absolutely
but like,
zero. It's the principle of it.
I'm at that thing now, like, you know, if Gyökeres comes out and signs tomorrow, I might go down the shop and get another something else.
No. If Gyökeres gets signed, Lee, you'll come out like Ty. You'll have the headphones, you'll have the hat, you'll have the jacket, the shirt, you'll have the trainers, the lot.
Listen, I'm a big thing of, like, you know what I mean, getting players in that we need. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we all want this player and that. And I'm not stupid enough to know that, you know, if I go and spend the money on Isak, we ain't going to be able to fill out places in the squad because of money, wages and all that. Like, and the squad's very, very important. You know, if we bring in Gyökeres, we bring in I don't know if it'll be Eze, but if we bring in somebody else there and you look at the squad, so if you want to say to me, right, you can have Isak, or you can have Gyökeres, Eze, central defender, and I'm going down the route of 3 or 4 players. I'm sorry,
100%.
I am, because I think that at the end of the day, what's lacking for us is that squad. So for me, I think Gyökeres is a very, very good deal. But if you think about that, you could get Eze on top of that. That, to me, or someone like that.
Do you know what? Personally, look, we've seen Isak is Premier League proven, as opposed to Gyökeres isn't really. Well, he's not. The thing that I like about Gyökeres is his injury record. The thing I don't like about Isak is his injury record. He's a great player. He has the potential to be a great player, and he's a very good player. And he showed that to us, you know, on a few occasions last season. How he, you know, lightning quick, how he runs onto balls, how dynamic he is, how explosive he is, his finishing ability, his area ability. You know, that fox in the box as well. He's got the lot, but there's no point, you know, for me, it goes back to that, what we were talking about, the injury record. Yeah,
and one thing I will say about in Isak's defence now is because he's playing the Premier League. Like, these guys are not, you know, it's a different ball game when you're playing the physical, quicker. So, you know, the guys might pick up injuries because you know, like the league's different. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, these are things that we're going to have to find out. But I just feel like we're going in the right direction. I just want to know. And why these things take so long, you know what I mean?
Look, when you're talking, you know, 50 million plus for players, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly.
Yeah,
I do believe
very,
that, you know,
very slowly with Arsenal on most occasions.
Big deals. Now, on the note of, I suppose, the sort of, I say sub-signings, but the retention of Arsenal players, this is another thing that's exciting. Obviously, we've seen Big Gabby, we've seen MLS, and now we're seeing Nwaneri signing.
And I've got to say, Martin, sorry, another thing that's really, you know, and I don't think it's fair on Arsenal fans, and I don't think, well, it's certainly not fair on Nwaneri as well, is that people reporting that he's demanded this and demanding that. Like, where, for a start, and Arsenal fans believe all that, like, you know what I mean? Because
when it gets reported, they do believe.
Of course they do, like, you know what I mean? He's demanding on game time. Well, it's a load of old rubbish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I knew that for a fact anyway. Like, but like, at the end of the day, what the kid has asked for is like
bit of game time.
Well, not
some
really,
assurances,
a plan, a pathway. What's my plan? What's my pathway?
Where am I just going to sit on the bench? Because
what am I going to do? And he's at this moment in time, he's got every right to ask that.
Because there was periods of times where Arsenal fans were quite rightly asking, you know, I think when Odegaard was out and, you know, Saka was out, it's like, why is this lad not
why is he playing?
Why is he not on the pitch? You know, because there was times when he got put onto the pitch where we weren't expecting it, and he lit the place up, and he was fantastic. I remember against Bolton, he was phenomenal. Okay, yeah, it was Bolton, but you know, there were a few matches where he was really good.
Exactly. How good has Miles been for us?
Honestly, and this is a player that really excites me. Right. Miles Lewis-Skelly, honestly, I am having him in the team. I think personally he has the potential to be one of the best left backs the Premier League has seen.
Or midfield players.
He's a left back, Lee. He's a left back for me. Right. Do you know what? He has nailed that position. When I see him in that position, I'm just like, it reminds me of the early years of Ashley Cole, where you're just, you know, when you've got players in positions, like when you had Omri up front, you got Raya in goal, or Seaman in goal, or Vieira in midfield. I just get that. I'm like, don't worry, Miles has got it. Like the way he bombs through, I get the midfielder thing, but I think when players in youth teams sometimes play positions where he's been identified, what I love as a left back, one of the key traits, obviously you need to be able to defend, like that's a given, but being ball carrying ability. Now, so many times I watched Miles Lewis-Skelly last season get the ball and just drive through players, and he was like half stumbling over, but he was getting pulled, checked, and you just can't take the ball off the boy. And having that's what we bought Calafiori for. We bought Calafiori for his ability to carry the ball from defence through to midfield, through to attacking areas, a transitional based player that can defend. And not being funny, Miles Lewis-Skelly, he's a young lad, he got his opportunity and he has just sealed it.
And he has taken it right.
Fantastic.
But I'll ask you the question, like, how many appearances did he have at Wanyeri's age?
How many appearances?
For Arsenal,
None. No, he didn't.
None.
No, exactly.
So he's come on this year. So when people go about Wanyeri, like Wanyeri's a year behind.
Yeah.
So Wanyeri's had, I think, 30, 40 appearances. I don't know. That was all that stuff.
He's around 30.
So people forget how young he is and forget how he
was the youngest ever Premier League player.
15. I was there. So at the end of the day, I think that for this season, I think you'll see Wanyeri a little bit more developed. I think Miles Lewis-Skelly physically is above his.
Hey, I met him, right, and he came up to me, and he's a unit.
Yeah.
Like, he's a proper unit. Like he's just and a lovely lad as well. Lovely lad.
So,
and do you know what? I think you're right that people forget that with Wanyeri, that he came on as this, it was like, he's just done that to get the record and all that, and he's shown. But
I think he's going to be a really good player.
So do I.
At this moment, and nothing against Ethan, nothing that if we had a cup final tomorrow, he's not starting.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, but what he's
maybe
done
in a year or two.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's getting. You've got to build a platform. You've got to build yourself in. And I do think that he's going to be a special player.
And what you don't want with these players is too much too soon.
Yeah.
And then it's like, again, refer to Michael Owen. Very fantastic, very young, and then for the latter years, it was like this promise, and then it never, he did listen. He won things. He went to Real Madrid 100%, but his career was sort of over by
30.
Yeah, 100%. It was.
Yeah, I mean, like the other thing is, like, we went on the tour last year, and you just, no disrespect, like with Wanyeri and with Miles Lewis-Skelly, Josh Nichols as well. You just think, they're just on the tour.
Yeah.
To just make up the numbers or whatever. Far from it, you know what I mean? There's I do believe there is a pathway to get into the Arsenal team. But listen, to get into the Arsenal team,
mate,
is from being a kid is very, very difficult. Don't happen too often.
I've said like 1 or 2% of all the players.
Like, I'm pleased that he signed. And at this moment in time, I see him as a very, very valuable squad player rotator. Definitely. For us, and I'm delighted that he signed. And again, all that little all that little bit of all that little just puts pressure on people to lose their stuff on other things as well. Look, we're not signing Wayne. The worst thing that ever happened with that Madueke one as well, right, was that when that come out, there was a lot of things saying, there's going to be a swap deal with Wanyeri to Chelsea as well. Made it even worse.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things put into like, that.
We're getting Madueke.
And they were going to get Wanyeri. And
the golden boy.
So there was a lot of trying to mess with Arsenal fans' head. Again, I'd still say if we'd have got Gyökeres, it wouldn't have been as easy to mess with Arsenal fans' head.
So right, Lee, right. The Kepa Mosquera, say he goes, Norgard, Zubimendi, Madueke, Gyökeres, right? Let's say Eze comes as well. Eze and Gyökeres, they're not done, but let's say they are done. Wanyeri, MLS and Gavi. How do you rate? Let's say that those are the players that are retained and in Arsenal Football Club. How do you rate that
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. I think that's fair.
I think to get a 10 out of 10.
It's hard.
It's hard. That would mean bringing another attacking option.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Would be.
I think if you add Rodrigo into that as well,
add Rodrigo,
and you exit the correct amount, you get rid of the players you need to.
I would even say if you were exited, if you and got someone like a Morgan Rogers or even on Ollie Watkins to back up that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Then I would probably say it's a 10. Like Rodrigo would put you into 10.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, but that would be it, because what you've done is you've attacked all areas and all that. Like, you know, I still would like a young midfield player coming through, like, but maybe that'd be for the next season or season after. I don't know, like, you know.
I think for me with that, I think that will be the best. If that
what's
happens,
it for you? What were you?
For me, if that happens, what I just said, that's the best transfer window I think I've seen Arsenal do in Premier League time, or potentially in my lifetime, with all of those players.
Do you think? All right, then ask a question then.
Because because obviously the Vieiras and the Omris, they were all in separate. You know, they were.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that they're nowhere. They're not there. But that window with those players and how they've done it, if they all come in, I think that will be. But you can never truly judge.
I'll ask a question. Like, do you think if all those deals come out, do you think Edu would have been able to get there,
right,
or not?
So this is the question that I wanted to come on to next. Edu versus Berta, right? I know personally, I'll answer that. I think I've seen a huge difference in the way Berta does business to where Edu. Big respect to Edu, Invincible, and obviously this being the Invincible podcast, you know, and it was built on those players. But I think it shows for me no disrespect to him, and I'd never say a bad word about him because obviously Invincible, and again another another person that I've met, really nice, lovely guy, and I just don't think he's at the levels as Berta. He's young in his career as a sporting director, and the way that Berta's done his business now obviously Edu's gone to Forest, and obviously Morgan, Gibbs-White, and Alanga, two of their best players. Forest fans are up in arms. Forest fans are livid because they're like an Arsenal man's come in here getting rid of our best two players. What's all this about? And look, some of Edu's signings have been fantastic. They've been good. Some of them haven't been good at all. Now, what I've seen with Berta is he's come in. He's like, nah. He's like, we're getting players in. We're going to get the players in, and then we'll shift the other players. They're going to start. The Tomiyasu contract being torn up. That's pretty. I mean, that doesn't have to happen, really. I mean, it's been done. You know, it's
ruthless.
Yeah, he's ruthless. He ain't messing around. When you're dealing with the likes of Simeone that he has been. You know, this is a well-trodden path. This is what he does. This is what we've brought him in for. Now, the only thing I could equate to the January where we didn't get a number 9, we didn't have a sporting director then. We didn't have this guy. Now Berta's come in, he's in situ, and he's just doing business. He's doing what we're paying him to do, which I love seeing. What's your take?
Do you know what? Like, you know, like Edu's a top guy. Got on really well with him, so I don't want to criticise him for that. So I think for what we needed at the time.
Yep.
I thought Edu done fantastically well, like bringing in the players and all that. Like, you know, what we need now is a different ball game, and maybe like that's where the experience comes into it. Like, you know what I mean? If I'll be really honest, he signed, or he was part of the thing that got Jesus into the club. When we talk about injuries, if he hadn't got injured, I don't know how good he would have been. To be honest, I thought he was fantastic.
He was.
So that was a good move at the time. Zinchenko was a good signing for us. Like, you know, Ben White's been a good signing for us. You know what I mean? So he's done well, but like the football club, we've gone to a different level now.
Yeah, we have, and
you've got to move with it. Maybe Edu is better suited to someone like Forest or someone there like that can now push them on that little bit more. But listen, I think with Edu, he was part of when he came to this football club, it was very, very disjointed. Like, it was. He's brought that connection back.
He brought Arsenal back to Arsenal.
Yeah, he has. So I think for that, he's got to get the credit, and I don't think he ever get the credit he deserves from that. And you know, like, you don't really know what the sort of budget was from then to there and everything like that. So listen, I think from my point of view, and I think he's done well, but this Andrea Berta at this moment in time, you know what I mean, we're patting him on the back and everything like that. But I'm as Roy Keane always says, it's his job. This is what he's expected to do. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, this is your job.
It is.
You've got to get these ones over the line. At this moment in time, he hasn't.
Yeah.
As we're talking, when he does, you know what I mean. Like, I think he needs to be given a lot of credit when he does.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So just a quick one as well. This is on a footballing note. I know it's not sort of Arsenal related, but Palace Conference League. What's your thoughts on this league?
Scandalous.
It is, isn't it?
Scandalous. Other teams have done it and got away with it. All of a sudden, Crystal Palace, poor little Crystal Palace, first time in Europe to be given. You know, it just shows you in football, and I believe that there is different rules for different teams, different clubs, and Crystal Palace have got into the Europa League for merit through the FA Cup. The FA should be backing them up.
Yeah,
as well.
They should. I think the FA should be in there backing them up.
Of course they should.
And what I will say on that quickly is one, obviously the money in the Europa League is a lot more, and it will bring a lot more money to Crystal Palace as a club, which they could then use to reinvest. But I do think the Conference League will be suited better to them, because it looks like they're going to be losing Eze to us, and it looks like also they're going to be losing Mateta. Potentially to, I've heard he's got Liverpool, and obviously Gay. I've heard of a couple of people rumours that we were in for him, but also potentially to Liverpool. I think they're going to really struggle in the Europa League with squad depth. But I think the whole you know, that all that stuff aside, we could talk about that. But I think the whole thing as a whole is scandalous.
I get that it may be better for the players, it may be better for, but what the point of it is the fans.
Yeah, of
what
course
have they
it
done
is.
wrong?
Yeah, no, nothing.
The fans have got a chance. Crystal Palace never won anything in their lives. You know, fantastic football club in my opinion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, being a South London boy, got a little bit of respect for the South London teams.
Yeah.
And you know, the fans have won the cup, got a chance to go into Europe. And I can say from the experience in the Europa League, ain't the greatest for the players and whatever. Like, for the fans, the places you go to are fantastic.
I know.
It's brilliant. Love following Arsenal in the Europa League. Completely different play. You know, like if you're going in the Champions League, from 9 times out of 10, you're going to the capitals, bosh. But you go to different, you know, like places that are completely different. It was a team that Spurs beat in the semi-final.
Bodo Glimt.
But I've been there.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
what's that like?
Well, two hotels and a port. That was there, freezing cold. But like nothing opened. Only on match day. It was but it was just something like, you know, just something different. And they're being taken away from that. I think scandalous.
Okay. Now, a question I want to ask you as well, just completely changing the subject, right? One thing I looked at is, remember last season, there's quite a few transfers. Like you had Declan Rice for 105 million. You had Caicedo for 110. I think Enzo was similar to that. This transfer window, okay, at the moment, Isak's being touted for 120 or 150 million. But this transfer window, a lot of the signings, like when you consider a player like Gyökeres for 60 million, Zubimendi for 50 million, that's quite a comparison. It's nearly half the price. Now, compared to Zubimendi potentially being a player of, let's say, Caicedo's quality in that position, why do you think this is? Are we seeing the numbers that transfers go? Are you starting to see them drop down? Is there starting to be something a bit more realistic about football, or is that because of the quality of the player? What's your take on it?
Listen, you know, football's always been for me like, you know, going through years, and you know, perhaps it's changing now, I'm a bit old school and all that. Centre forward always got more money.
Yes, this is what I mean. Centre forward. This is the point. Centre forward's classically the price. But when you talk about Gyökeres or Sesko being 60, 70 million,
and you're looking at it, so things have changed, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean. Like they always, when I played my football, they always got paid the most.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like. I remember a little story. I centre forward used to get more money for us, and at the end of the season, part of his deal was that he got 2 weeks in the chairman's villa in Spain for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So I went to the chairman and said to him, like, how comes I don't get that? Like, you know what I mean? In my contract, so he says, you score 20 goals a season, you might.
Yeah. Okay.
But I said, well, I'll stop 20 goals a season, like, you know what I mean? Don't matter.
So speaking of chairmans and owners, right? Would you have a pint with the Cronkies?
I'd end up paying. I know that. I'd end up paying, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would.
Yeah,
I would, like, you know what I mean, as long as they're buying.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to, because I would put a few things down to them in a nice way of what we want and what we don't want and what we expect. You know what I mean? And I'd like to find out what actually they'd want to do.
Yeah,
how they feel about Arsenal Football Club.
So,
as well.
Josh, you've heard it here first.
Yeah.
Take my man, Mr. Lee Judges, out for a pint and get.
Listen, how I look at it, right now, I don't know. This is how I can relate to it a little bit. Like, you know, I love me American football, right?
Yes.
I'm a big Washington fan and all that. Like,
oh, really? Washington Commanders? Yeah,
massive fan. Like, you know. Go to a few when they're over here. I'll go and whatever. Like,
really, I didn't know that. So am I.
Watch it on. Oh,
yeah. Do you know I'm watching on Netflix at the moment the quarterback thing? I watched the receivers one. Yeah. I love Jared Goff. I think for me, he's just a phenomenal player. Obviously, how they moved him on from the Rams, and he's at the Detroit Lions now, doing his thing. And yeah, I love it. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, two players. That partnership, I love it.
I love it all. Like, you know what I mean. So, but 6:00 if. Washington on, I'll watch it, like, you know. But when they lose, I'm a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
But nowhere near the same way as I am with Arsenal. Right? So are they like that?
Yeah.
With the LA Rams to Arsenal? That is the one thing that I'll ask, because as much as, you know what I mean, I want, you know, I might throw me biscuit at the telly or something when they miss a field goal that wins them the game or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, I'm annoyed, but I'll go to bed and I can say, when Arsenal have lost, you know what I mean, I don't sleep or whatever. Like, you know, it's not the same for me. You know what I mean? But I still I always want Washington to win. I'd just like to know how they actually... Does it hurt when Arsenal lose a game of football?
I get that, because they made a huge power play when I think it was McCarthy they got rid of for Sean McVay, because he took them nearly as far as they could, and then they got Sean McVay in, obviously Super Bowl, took them to the NFC Championship, and they made that, inside change, and they went on to greatness. So, do they feel that way about Arsenal? Are they just happy Arsenal ticking away with Champions League football, or are they now going, right, let's have a war chest, let's go for it, we're winning stuff?
And just that thing is, do you hurt as much as because you brought, like, I've been brought up with Arsenal all through my life. You know what I mean? Washington come a little bit later, but like I'm still very passionate for it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm passionate with my cricket as well, Yorkshire, like, you know what I mean? And if they lose, I'll get the ump. But at the end of the day, it's not the same.
Let's just hope they don't move us to Yorkshire like they did move the Rams from St. Louis.
No, well, exactly like, you know what I mean?
So on the note of travelling, the pre-season tour. Lee, tell the fans about the AFTV pre-season tour and the games we've got coming up.
Yeah, we're off to... We're off to Singapore on Sunday. The actual team goes on the Saturday.
Yep.
We go on the Sunday.
Yep.
So we'll be out there for the game on Wednesday when we're playing AC Milan.
That's 12:30 on the 23rd of July.
Yes, I think it's 7:30 over in Singapore.
Yes. Yep.
And then
Newcastle.
I think it's
Sunday the 27th.
Is it Sunday? Is it?
Yep, Sunday the 27th.
Sorry,
at 12:30.
I'd have been there a day early because I thought it was a Saturday. So
then we've got Tottenham on Thursday the 31st of July.
Yeah, so we then leave Singapore, I believe, on the Monday.
Yeah.
To get over there, and we're over in Hong Kong for 4 days.
And I believe that is the first North London derby outside of North London.
Someone told me we played against them in Barcelona a little while back.
There you go, I'm wrong.
I don't remember it, like, you know what I mean? But my Tottenham mate said, I was talking to him. My mate Harry was saying this the other day. We was playing football and we came and I said, I can't remember. And he went, yeah, we played in Barcelona once.
So albeit with the pre-season, Lee, you know, for me, it's a kind of a bit of a gauge. I like to see the new signings. I like to see how they play, how they fit into the team. I don't like it when I like to see the adjustments made and sort of the team. Obviously, players are going to get game time. What do these initial games mean for you?
But what they mean for, like, the results are not as important, but I like to see.
Cohesion.
Yeah, I like to see in that something that's going to encourage me for the season. Like, you know what I mean, like. Couple of years ago, when I see Saliba and Jesus, I come back from that tour. We're gonna be good.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that, you know, it is important to show, like, you know, it's not always about winning, but like you look at it and go like, oh, we're playing well. The patterns of play and things like that. And listen, we've all played. You know what pre-season's about. It is about getting something in your legs. You're training a lot harder leading up to the game, if you know what I mean, like, and then you're not, you know, like on a Friday you're still working hard if you're playing on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So all of those things come in there. But what I like to see about it is go like patterns of play. You're looking like and you think, whoa, there's something there that looks really, really good. Like, you know, we look strong here, we look strong there, and we look strong up front. So like, yeah, that's all that I look at it. Now, I don't go too mad about the results.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, if you was losing every game...
If you lose to Tottenham, it's...
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, listen, at the end of the day, this is going to be the first North London derby game I'm going to go to where I'll have a good night's sleep before the game. And if we win, like, I won't be buzzing like I am that. But, you know, listen, you always want to put one over them. And,
of course you do.
At any stage. And, you know, I remember we beat them at Wembley in that... it was a Makita Cup or something once. I'm like, lovely.
The old Makita Cup.
They beat them, like, stuffed them.
Yeah.
Stuffed them, like, you know what I mean? So, you know, so you always want to do well in them and that. I think now with these pre-season tours and all that, you don't want, you know, like we've got Newcastle quite early on in the season. You don't want to be like tonked by them and so like it's got some sort of like scars in the back of your mind. So you want to, but you know, at the end of the day, you know when the Man United game at the beginning of the season is the way. And when you look back, I think we lost to Man United, or we beat. Was it last year? Or we played Man United twice. I think we beat them.
Well, we played them in the FA, obviously the FA Cup. We drew at Old Trafford 1-1.
No, I'm talking about on a tour. We lost them on a tour. I think we lost them in New Jersey.
I think it was 3-2,
2-1 or something. Anyway, and we beat them. We beat them in the Sofa Stadium, so that was last year. So, and Man United fans are going all that, and straight away say, well, look, you know, see if you take it on into the season, and they didn't. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really. Yeah, it doesn't gauge what it's going to be and what's not going to be. But at the end of the day, you want to win.
I understand it's a lot of it is fitness, getting a team in sync, and obviously it's lucrative for the clubs, and obviously it spreads the fan base and gives, you know, fans in other countries that might not usually get an opportunity to come and experience the Emirates to watch Arsenal play in person in their you know, in their country. And
I believe that the Hong Kong game got sold out against Tottenham within a day, and it wasn't even you couldn't buy it over here.
Brilliant.
So before anybody could buy anything, it was sold out. Like, you know what I mean?
Unreal.
So 50,000 went within a day.
And I think that's fantastic for fans worldwide to get a taste of, you know, top teams playing football that, you know, like I said, might not usually get an opportunity to.
Incredible.
So final thoughts, Lee, before I wrap it all up like a Christmas present.
For her, final thoughts, like, you know, as we speak, Gyökeres's deal is not done. I just want that done.
Yeah, I do as well.
Just then I can relax a little bit over this transfer. What will happen after that? I'm not so stressed out about it, like, you know. So just get it done. As Robbie, you know, says what he wants it done before. It doesn't look like at this moment in time he's going to be on the official plane.
Yeah.
Going out there on Saturday. He might be on our plane, who knows, like, you know what I mean? So he's more than welcome to come sit next to me. But so he could be out there the day after day. But listen, because he's not out there for the first day, doesn't mean, like, for instance, I remember Shinchenko coming over and halfway through, and Calafiori last season. So, you know, like, get it done within the next day or so.
It can happen, like you said, with those deals.
Quickly,
Yeah. But you'd like to have all the players in situ, ideally, for the pre-season tour, and then the pre-season. We've got one against Villarreal as well.
Yeah, I'm not really worried so much about those games. The 1-1, I'm really. If you get him the striker involved in it now, it can because I think he's key to all those different positions that you were saying. All that there's so much you can work on and make a better. If he comes in like 4 weeks time or whatever, he's not going to get it there. You need that now so we can work, because we are going to have to change our style a little bit, because he's a more of a goal threat going that way instead of coming back this way. So I do think that it's very, very important that he's on the pre-season to it.
100%, and obviously time to bed in, associate himself with Arsenal Football Club, the fans, the team. There is a lot going on. He is a human being, and just bed in and gel properly, so that when the Premier League starts, and we've got a tough start against Manchester United, Liverpool, we've got Newcastle, we've got some big games, so that when we're going to those places, we are hitting the ground running. We've got Leeds. I mean, they're going to be looking to. I mean, look, they're coming up from Championship, but they're going to want to have a go. And you want your players to be ready to rock and roll.
Ready to roll.
Well, look, Lee.
No, it's been a pleasure, No worries.
An absolute pleasure.
No worries,
guys. Please check out AFTV, all the pre-season tour stuff in Singapore. The game's coming up. You've got fan cams. You're going to have interviews. There's podcasts. Absolutely everything. So please engage with that content. Thank you very much for having me. I've had an absolute blast with you, Lee, as always. Go easy on me in the comments. And I hope you have enjoyed what we have had to say today. So, guys, catch you next time. Marty, AFTV, signing out.
The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.